started. Tonight we will continue with the conclusion framework we discussed in Class 1 and Class 2. We will talk a little bit about it as we go through the class. We will also add some components to your presentation style, presentation skill, those being some body language components, specifically movement, gesture with your hands, and also eye contact. We will do the 60-second prepared summaries that you have brought to class. We'll talk about them in terms of how effectively they accomplish the conclusion goals we've discussed before. And then we'll also think about, well, how did eye contact supplement that or detract from that? Or how did body language help reinforce the point? So let's just quickly review some of the conclusion stuff we talked about. We talked about conclusions being the thing that you all do as business students. As Rutgers business students, you are going to be called upon to present valuable conclusions. Less and less you will be the people who just list data. So you may use data to support your conclusions, but when you get to the important thing, your audience is going to be wondering, what's the takeaway? What did the smart business student come up with that we paid all this money to hire, or we sent to Rutgers Business School to come up with something good? So you can use verbal and nonverbal cues to indicate that you're getting to the important point. You can just say, the conclusion is, my takeaway is. You can pause. You can decrease your rate of speech. You could move a couple of steps to the other side of the room. You could use a visual aid that says your conclusion is. These are things that are simple, but will guide your audience. And it's tempting to forget these simple things if you get up and you get nervous and you just want to rush through your presentation. All right, so what else? We also talked about this idea of conclusion giving you a little extra spark in terms of purpose. Remember that exercise we did at the start of Class 1, where we said, first just have the presenter list the difference between the iPhone and the Android. And then the second thing we did is now have the presenter actually try to convince you that one is better than the other. It adds an extra incentive for the speaker. You have a reason to be talking. You're trying to convince someone of something that you think is important. And it brings an extra takeaway for the listener as well. What value can they get out of this presentation? The value is they can get your take on which phone they should buy, rather than just a list of data that may or may not be relevant to that. We also talked about how focusing on purpose can decrease anxiety. People get nervous when they make presentations. I get nervous when I make presentations. It's a very common fear. And when we get nervous, we tend to think about us being judged, all right? Am I saying the words the right way? How are you looking at me? Why are you judging me in a way that's based on those characteristics? Whereas I might be better off to think about what I'm doing for you that is valuable. Am I accomplishing my goal of giving you the information you need? Am I accomplishing the goal of convincing you that this change is important? The more I think about that, the less I'll think about me and me being judged. The more I think about that, the more I'll truly realize that any presentation is often about the value that your audience gets. The audience is not there to judge you, they're there to get something valuable. So conclusion helps us with that as well. Gives us an extra spark, decreases anxiety, and is often what you will be doing as a business student. So with that, tonight we will do these 60-second summary presentations as a means of practicing that conclusion framework. And as I mentioned, I will make some comments on body language. We will do a number of them. We'll think about how well they accomplished conclusion stuff. And then I will throw in some body language exercises to see if we can use that to enhance. So we'll go through maybe 5 or 10 of them. And then I'll start with some movement exercises and some eye contact exercises to get everyone involved. Through this, I may have people come back up and do their presentation again to see if these eye contact exercises helped. And then we'll just continue through adding more and more people in. All right. Any questions? Of course you don't have any questions because you don't have any idea what I'm going to do. Yes, Al?
So on this 60-second presentation, is it as if we've already given the presentation and we're now recapping? And
Sure.
also for those of us that didn't go last week, do we pretend that as if the group has already heard it?
I could go either way. I guess I would look at this as real. So if we didn't hear your presentation last week, then we didn't hear it. So now you're trying to give us in 60 seconds an important takeaway. So I would look at it that way. Yeah, instead of saying, well, if you had heard my presentation, then you would understand that this is. So I would look at it as real. Any other questions? Did everyone get one of these? I saw a couple of people. Okay, everyone's got it? All right, so let me get some notes. Let's go with, Evan, Nick, Al, and Jameson. We'll start with those four. Good to go, Evan.
Excellent. All right. Good evening, everybody. I'm here to talk to you about superhero movies and how great they are. So, superhero movies have their history based on around World War II's, were sort of the golden era of comic books and serials, superhero serials, especially Superman and Batman, the old TV shows. They came up through the 40s and 50s. You had a little bit of them. Every now and then you'd see a movie come out. It was really more of a foreign phenomenon, particularly in Italy in the 60s. They had their spike of superhero movies. But you don't see them all that much in America until about the early to mid-90s. That's when you start seeing a real steady stream of them climbing through. And we're going to concentrate on 95 to up to now. You see, back in the early times, it was 1, maybe 2 superhero movies a year. Up to now, you've seen spikes as many as 8 in a year, and really about 5 per year these days. And, well, it's weird, but it's not so weird when you look at the numbers, because how much they're grossing, adjusted for inflation, has climbed from $200 million a year up to about $1.4 billion a year from 1995 to 2016. And the market share has gone from about 0 to 2% of your moviegoers up to a projected 30% for 2016. Now, that speaks well for the people who are making these movies, right? It also means they're probably going to be making more, which is awesome if you like me, if you enjoy these movies. There are those who say, oh, they're getting too weird, they're running out of ideas, but I don't think there's any merit to that because the profits haven't shown any sign of slowing. So get out there and support your superhero movies. Thank you.
Awesome, good stuff. All right, just real quick, does someone want to make a comment on his, you can go ahead and have a seat, Evan, on the conclusion and the clarity of it? Yes, Saeed.
I like that he told me to do something at the end.
Okay.
I know what to do.
Fantastic. All right, so what was his conclusion?
Go watch the
Go watch superheroes. Excellent. All right, so good conclusion. Lots of good gestures. I feel like we could build on those gestures by using that good open body language you have and just settling those hand gestures down a tiny bit.
Okay.
And we may come back to that. All right, Nick.
Just start whenever.
Yep.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nick Lair, and today I'm going to give you 5 easy steps to increase your LinkedIn presence. Step 1, become a member if you haven't already. Step 2, maintain a professional attitude at all times since it is a professional social networking site. Step 3, you want to connect with people that you know and make sure that you have value in your connections. Step 4, actively participate in group discussions. And step 5, keep your profile current at all times. If you do these 5 steps, you will undoubtedly increase your LinkedIn presence.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Good. I love it. I love it. Clear, to the point. We've got value. Fantastic. Who did I say next? Al. Yes.
So thanks everyone for coming to today's career planning workshop. I'm glad I got to catch you today as we're going through our MBA programs here, because I've found out and looked at 2 different career paths. one of a director level position at local companies as a director, as I said, and the other career path is to be a rock star. And I really compared the two and wanted to find out what the benefits of both were, what the costs were. And I think you're gonna discover that the way to go here is really to become a rock star, folks. So in looking at this and looking at salaries of like an average director with an MBA degree, you're looking at a salary of somewhere about $140,000, $160,000 if you're going from finance to HR, et cetera. Whereas if you're looking at an average salary of a rock star, a superstar in today's day and age, you're talking about $70 to $80 million a year. Some of the top rock stars, Bruce Springsteen, for instance, this year will make $80 million. So quite a comparison between the two. So the other area I want to look at is what's the investment that's required? What is the education or the training? So for the MBA students, looked at a couple Ivy League schools. Average MBA program for Ivy League schools is about $160,000 per year. Now, if you compare that to the cost of most rock stars who have gotten their starts with $2,500, maybe $5,000 of training in voice lessons or guitar lessons, the return on investment is quite more beneficial to become a rock star. So, in conclusion, I would just like to say that the return on investment from an MBA student to go on to become a director is about 25-fold. After putting down about $150,000, you can earn about $4 million over a 20-year career, versus the rock star who puts in about $5,000, makes about $1.25 billion in their lifetime. So my advice to all you folks here today is to go to the Scarlet Pub for karaoke night and be the rock star.
Good, awesome conclusion. Great controlled movement. So to see how he was really relaxed with his body language, he was just had open, calm body language, and every once in a while he would walk to the other side of the room, open, calm body language again, and great eye contact as well. Now, while I love the conclusion and it was really funny, I do have a logical problem with it. And I think we can go back to something I talked about in class 1. And I love chances to reminisce on class 1, because sometimes, no one's ever questioned me on this, but I always wonder when I talk about logic and premise and logical conclusions that people are going to think I'm talking about something that's too simple. So does anyone share that thought in terms of the logic of his conclusion? Ever?
So there's a lot more invested in becoming a rock star besides money. It's thousands and thousands of hours that you wouldn't necessarily eventually. Is that what you're looking for? I'm not sure.
Good. I agree with that. That was not what jumped out to me, though. I mean, not that that's
Doing
not.
karaoke night is not being a rock star. So,
Stability?
No, with the return on investment,
Sure. What do you got?
well, that's that you better start practicing the karaoke to become a rock star.
Okay.
Don't you need some voice?
What?
I overlooked the talent.
Voice? Oh, you need to have a talent.
Basically, what for people like you are.
Yes. Okay. All right. What jumped out to me because of the way he framed it, the return on investment?
He talked about return on investment being 25-fold, whereas he didn't say what fold it is for becoming a rock star.
Okay, what bothered me is he didn't say the chance of success of becoming a rock star. Am I the only one that was bothered by that? So if your chance of becoming a rock star is 1%, then your expected earnings is 1% of that $1 billion. And if your chance of becoming a director level after getting your Rutgers MBA is like 90%, then you get 90% of that. But, all right, so no one else agrees. We'll sit down.
Hey everyone, I'm Jamison Korb, and today I'm going to be talking to you in the next minute about why you should ignore the unemployment number and why it's complete bunk. Today, the unemployment number that is widely publicized in the media really leaves out a lot of key numbers and populations that are at the foundation of what unemployment is. People who are so discouraged that they're not even looking for work are not counted in the unemployment number. And that's the same with people who are only taking part-time jobs because they can't find a full-time job. They're not included in that number at all. Even 2 weeks ago, we saw the unemployment number decrease, even though the number of people out of work increased. Doesn't make much sense at all. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, who reports these numbers, has a very selective way of maintaining their records and counting who is employed and who is unemployed. Because of all these reasons, you really can't trust the statistic, should throw it out, and turn off your mind when you hear it being reported in the news media. Thanks.
Awesome. Powerful conclusion. Just I noticed just a tiny bit of leaning to the side. Maybe we can straighten that out with one or two of the body language exercises we do. All right. Daniel, Saeed, and Emily. Do you need a minute? Are you chewing?
I'm good.
You're good? Okay.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Daniel Boulos. I'm a postdoc fellow at Bristol Myers Squibb in Oncology Medical. And this evening, just in 1 minute, want to quickly peruse through establishing rapport. So first, I'm going to go through what rapport is. Then I'll go through why it's important and some of the values of it. And then I'll briefly run through some methods or how you can establish rapport. So first, what is rapport? Rapport is the kind of crossroads or connection between the relationship you have and the relationship between communicating well and then arguably a little bit more important, understanding the other party in discussion. So that's what rapport is, the relationship between those two. Why is it important? Just want to quickly survey the room. How many of you see value in having a direct connection with your colleagues and being likable amongst your colleagues, having a direct impact or relationship between how well you do in the workplace? Yes, no? So that's undoubtedly a huge impact as to career development and ways to do better in the workplace. So how can you establish rapport? The third one. There's many ways out there how people can establish rapport, and there's a lot of different methods, none really validated, but I'll set forth one in the acronym of FORM. So F, standing for family. When you have 30 seconds with someone, try to learn a little bit about their family and show genuine interest in their roots and their upbringing. O, that's their occupation. Try to learn about what they do. A lot of times people are very enthusiastic and excited to share about what they feel passionate about. So that's the O, occupation. What's the third letter? R, relationship, form. So relationship, or excuse me, recreation. Learn about what they do for fun. Learn about their hobbies, some of their travel, things they like to do outside of work. Try to get to know them on an interpersonal level. And lastly, M, message. What is the key takeaway for them? How can you offer value to them? How can you bring something to them that is of interest to them? So in wrapping, we kind of went through what rapport is. We went through why it's important, and you guys have attested as to the value you see in the workplace. And we went through a very brief method of how you can establish rapport in the workplace with the acronym of FORM. Thank you.
Fantastic. Daniel did a number of great things from a presentation standpoint. Notice he had a good, stable stance, and initially he didn't move at all. Just stood here and we listened to him. He had great eye contact, and he also used, maybe you saw this on the video of class 1, or maybe you just did it by yourself. He used a presentation motif, 1, 2, 3, and we knew he had 3 points, and he had a physical reminder of that to guide us through. He also did something at the end which even added to that, is he started to move a little bit. So by remaining stable at the beginning, I think we're able to concentrate on what he was saying, and his limited movement at the end drew us in a little bit more. What do you all think? Do you agree? All right. Who is next? Let's see.
Say Ketchman. Now, I remember when I was in high school, I used to go with some of my friends. I went to one of my friend's house, and he invited us over for some pizza. He said, I want to show you guys something. So back then, it was VHS tape. So he put in a VHS tape. It was a blurry black and white video. And then I remember watching it and saying, this is amazing. What it was the first time me watching a videotape of Muhammad Ali fighting. As you guys know, just about 2 weeks ago, he passed away. And you hear the word the greatest boxer ever. And until you watch one of his tapes, until you watch one of his videos of his fighting, you're really not going to understand what that is. My point of this 60 seconds is to get you guys to, at the end of this, pull up your phones, go on YouTube, and watch one of the fights of Muhammad Ali. And you'll start to see why he was such an invigorating figure, why he really changed the landscape of boxing, and why there hasn't been anyone since him, even someone with a name like Mike Tyson, not even close to what Muhammad Ali accomplished. And you also see why all of his opponents, even though he beat them all up, even though he stole the titles from them by winning, even though he used to trash talk them a lot, all of them, after he died, said he was the greatest beyond any doubt. So after this, go pull up your phones, watch some of the videos of Muhammad Ali, specifically against Joe Frazier or George Foreman, and I guarantee you will not be disappointed. Thank you.
Awesome. Interesting subject, and it's a subject that Saeed seems passionate about, and it's also a bit emotional because Muhammad Ali just died. But I think we can add to your presentation with a little more focused eye contact, and that will slow you down a little bit and build on that intense feeling you have for this subject. I also noticed with the body language just a little bit of leaning back and to the side that maybe we can straighten out with a movement exercise. All right, Emily.
Hi, my name is Emily Ayala. Like you, I'm a business student at Rutgers Business School. I'm also a lifelong learner of the Spanish language. I want to talk to you about how learning the Spanish language will help you become a better business student and become a better business professional afterwards. Like any business professional will need to use language to communicate with a large number of people in a very personable way. The Spanish language has 400 million speakers across the globe. It also has 12.85% of Americans speak the Spanish language as a primary or secondary language. This gives you a large number of people that you could potentially make more connections with in your workplace. Learning the Spanish language as a business professional will help you become a more engaging worker and team member. You'll be able to collaborate, connect with more people. Also, across the globe, half the people around the world speak more than one language. In the United States, only a quarter of the people do. So that'll give you a leg up on the competition. You'll bring something to the table that nobody else can. Speaking the Spanish language will help you become a more engaging business professional as well as more competitive in your field. Thank you.
Great casual, relaxed movement that I think helped. Good eye contact. I think I might slow down the eye contact just a little bit, which I'll talk about later, and just a little bit longer at each person rather than sort of a quick look at each person. So I'll talk about more, but I think that might help your presentation. All right, so let's go Vishali, Lei, and Alex.
Hi everyone, my name is Vishali Pataria. I work in drug safety, so the topic I chose was related to that was on medication errors, and especially medication errors in the hospital environment. One of the other reasons I chose this topic is that a while back a close friend of mine was in the hospital, and it turned out that she developed a allergic reaction due to the medication error. So I started looking into this topic. Do Did you know that medication errors are the third most leading cause of death in the US? Yeah, you know that, but I did not know that. I was surprised to hear that. So I started looking more into it, and I realized that when you look at the medication errors, they actually occur at the time of dispensing, they occur at the time of administration, at time of discharge. And I looked at a couple of studies, and I realized that the most of the errors are at the time of dispensing or discharge. So why I'm sharing this with you? I'm sharing this with you is that the reason is that we should be vigilant. So if you have a family member that is in a hospital, or God forbid you are in a hospital for something, please have somebody with you. Please have somebody be your advocate. And it's not because you're going to question the therapy or the medications you're going to get, but it's for somebody just to have, double check. Healthcare industry is doing something from their side too. They have IT tools, they have done, quality control checks. But just from our side, from the consumer and patient side, have somebody with you who's just double checking medications, understanding why they're prescribing this medication and how that you should take them. So that's all. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Very important, serious topic too. And I mentioned this comment briefly with Emily about slowing down eye contact. Her eye contact was very good. She looked at us all, but I'm going to talk a little bit about how focused eye contact for 5 to 10 seconds at one person and then moving on to someone else can just add to the connection when you talk about a serious topic like this. All right, Letty.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lei. My topic for today is your fuel efficiency technology. Fuel efficiency can be a very simple concept. It's simply defined like the distance of your car can travel per unit of the fuel. But why do we need this? Simply because we need low cost, low CO2 emission, and low pollution. Many engineers have been developing many techniques to improve the fuel efficiency, but most of them just improve a few percent. Until recently, we got big breakthrough, hybrid techniques. Hybrid techniques improve the fuel efficiency more than 30%. In the hybrid car, there are 2 power systems, which cost a little bit more. But on the other hand, that car saves you a lot of money because they just simply use much less gasoline. So research has indicated that if you choose the small hybrid car, you can get very quick payback, like 2 years. So when you buy a new car, if the cost and the emission are 2 big factors you would like to consider, a small hybrid car is your best choice. Thank you.
Great job. So Lei did some great things with combining his pacing with eye contact, with movement, and his conclusion. Did anyone have any thoughts? Anyone want to make any comments on that? Yes.
He's very concise, but also I felt like I wasn't being rushed in his presentation. Very relaxed attitude, and his hand gestures went with his eye contact. So everything was in sync. It just worked very well.
Yeah, and very relaxed too. He did. You heard me laugh. He kind of did a like, all right, we're all friends here, type of body language, open and ready just to talk casually. And as Nick said, his eye contact, his pacing, and his conclusions were all in sync. So great job. We'll see if we can all get to that level by the end of class. Who's next? Alex, and then let's go Jose and Marilyn. Marilyn. Sorry, not Marilyn. Marilyn.
Hello everyone, my name is Alex Torresano. I'm here today to speak about the importance of getting adequate sleep and to teach everyone about the effects of sleep deprivation. So sleep deprivation has been proven to cause an increase in creating accidents, and has shown to have negative effects to both our bodies and our minds. So to the body, it damages our immune system, it inhibits our recovery abilities, and it's been shown to be a leading indicator, or it's been shown to be correlated with type 2 diabetes, obesity, and high blood pressure. And to the mind, it affects our ability to make sound decisions. It affects our reaction time, and it hinders our creativity as well. So in order for us to promote our optimal self, it's important that we eliminate any obstacles that get in the way of getting a good night's sleep. That's it.
Great job, Alex. So good, stable stance. He was presenting to us. My one thought is that he looks tense with that body language. And I just want to get you to relax a little bit more, and that body language will help us relax a little bit more as we listen to your presentation. All right. Jose, fire away.
Oh. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jose. I'm going to talk about Groupon. Groupon is a deal of the day website offering a variety of goods and services categories. The company was launched in 2008. It's the fastest growing company of the decade, and it expanded over 45 countries and 500 markets, and actually have more than 45 million customers up to date. The company is rumored to have generated 760 million in revenue for 2010, up from 33 million in 2009. Even Google tried to offer 60 billion, but it got rejected. Rice University convened a survey to evaluate the pros and cons of Groupon promotion. But out of 150 businesses in 19 cities, more than 40% said that they would not run a Groupon promotion again. So showing that restaurants were the worst, and salons and spas were the most successful. So the conclusion is, this is the opportunity to bring new customers to your business, given the taste of your product or services, and you can make a deal as long as it's the right one for your line of business.
1 second. Oh, good. Have a seat. Okay, so Jose turned and faced us during that presentation. So it was a vast improvement from his presentation with the PowerPoint where there was a lot of awkward time, or I guess he was standing here. So just that open body language, I think, made a huge difference. Still a couple things going on. One, there's kind of a pacing back like this and a pacing forward. Didn't that distract anyone? All right, well, maybe we'll see when we correct it if the class likes the improvement. So a little pacing. You were facing us, but you weren't making focused, consistent eye contact. And there was also something else that creeped in. The filler word, Anyone hear that a lot? And I think if we think about helping you with a stable stance, focused eye contact, you won't need to use that filler word, because you'll realize that you're going to stay in a stable stance to communicate something important to us. And you'll have less time to think of, less time, less space, less need for filler words.
Hi, my name is Marilyn, and I'm here to talk to you about how to become a track star at any age. If you were ever interested in competing in track and field, you have an opportunity after age 35 to become a national medal winner in any event that is offered at any meet. The first step is to assess the registration information and find an event that has the fewest number of competitors to increase your chances of winning a medal. I suggest a 5K race walk because it's a familiar distance and there's a low barrier as far as training and rules to complete the event successfully. Second thing is to make sure you understand the rules of the event, because no matter how few people are entered, you can be disqualified and you will not win a medal in that event. The third step is to make sure that you have all the required registration and membership requirements met. So if you go to the USA Track and Field website, you can easily find where to sign up to become a member, find out which meet is open, and all the other information as far as travel and other athlete information.
Good. Now, we noticed how much her body language relaxed when she was just walking to her seat versus when she was standing giving the presentation. We'll see if we can bring that relaxed sense to your actual presentation. All right, so who hasn't gone yet? All right, so let's go David, Mike, and Jim.
Hi, I'm Dave Trepandier. The next time you're standing around the coffee machine at work and people start talking about baseball, it'd be nice to have 15 seconds of conversation that you could provide to them. So, with 1,000 players in baseball, I'll tell you about one guy people should know about, Noah Syndergaard. He's the best young pitcher in baseball. After competing for the 2014 Rookie of the Year, he's off to a sensational start this year. He's third in the league in ERA. He's second in the league in strikeout walk ratio, and he's third in the league in whip. And what do those things mean? It doesn't matter. As long as you say he's third in the league in ERA, the folks talking baseball will understand. So he pitches in New York, he gets good media coverage, and folks will know about him, so you should know that he is by far the best young pitcher in baseball, out-competing all the rest. Thank you.
Thank you. David, is that twitching in your left arm? Have you noticed that before? Or anyone pointed it out to you? Okay, awesome. Have a seat. I actually thought that you were going to use that as part of your presentation. It was just like so obvious. We'll see if we can get you to just relax your upper body and not have that distract us. Good.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Martinetti, and I'm here today to tell you why choosing Rutgers Business School for your MBA is a great choice. So I'm going to give you 5 reasons. Number 1, distinguished reputation. Rutgers is celebrating its 250th anniversary this year, so it's been around for a long time. Number 2, great flexibility. The MBA program actually is offering now weekend classes and online classes, and you can take classes up to 4 different campuses, so it's very flexible on your schedule. Number 3, new facilities. Within the last 10 years, Rutgers has invested over $165 million into its business school facilities, which shows their commitment to the programs. Number 4, return on investment. The tuition rates are relatively reasonable for an MBA program, and the salaries coming out upon graduation are pretty high. Rutgers actually ranks number 3 in the country of MBA programs for job placement upon graduation, so which is very important if you're going to spend money for an MBA. Lastly, it's strong network. Rutgers Business School has over 33,000 alumni, which all over the globe, so they give a strong connection, a lot of opportunities for you to connect with these people. Also, Rutgers is located in the New York City metropolitan area near some of the top companies in the country or even in the world. So, if you're interested in a program that'll have a distinguished reputation, great flexibility, new facilities, a great return on investment, and a strong network, choose Rutgers for your MBA. Thank you.
Great job, Mike. Good, confident presentation style. I felt like it was fast. I got the feeling that it was fast. And I think if you use a little more focused eye contact, it will slow you down just a tiny, tiny bit, which is all you need.
So my name is Jim Jordan, and I'm here to tell you about how reusable rocket technology is going to revolutionize the spaceflight industry and how this is going to benefit us in the very near future. The cost of a rocket is primarily based in the bottom section, right? Tons of money. When you think of putting a satellite up, it costs literally an arm and a leg. Elon Musk, through SpaceX, has developed a way to save the most expensive part of that rocket and recover it so that they can reuse it for multiple launches. You're talking $10 to $15 million per launch. 10 to 15 million off of a $60 to $90 million rocket launch. That's a pretty substantial savings. That savings can go towards satellites, more experiments. It can go towards additional missions to the space station. And what do we get from this as citizens? We get new technologies that affect us every day. A lot of engineering technology comes from that. A lot of medical innovations are derived from technologies that came from the space program. So we have a lot to gain from this. How do they do it? It's not really that important for us. What you do need to know is that there's 3 stages to a rocket. They're all bolted together. And when they launch, they all launch together. When it reaches a certain altitude, it essentially runs out of fuel. So Elon Musk has developed a way to recover the back section of the rocket that would normally fall back down to Earth and get obliterated. He can then take that, refurbish it, and relaunch it. This is a big innovation. It's going to save us a lot of money, and there's a lot of things in our future that are going to come out of more access to space. Thank you.
All right, great job, Jim. I had a couple of thoughts as you were doing that. I felt like you approached this with such relaxed body language, and you were just winding up to give us that important, this is the thing. And I think I threw you off a little bit by, I was just kind of like got this face like, yeah, that was so good. And you look at me like, what?
I was like, yeah, what, am I doing something wrong? Or just kind of...
I felt that may have thrown you for the whole rest of the presentation. So what I would say is that your eye contact is so good, and your gestures are good, and you're so confident with your language, that just stay still. Just like, stay stable, and we'll get that power from your presentation. We'll try that, and I think you're going to notice a huge difference. All right, who else is everyone gone? Renew and Ricky and Shruti. Renew, Ricky. So Renew, Ricky, Shruti, Lavanya. All right, so Ricky, you want to go? Ricky, Shruti, Lavanya, and then Linda.
All right, everybody. We're going to talk about childhood obesity and how to prevent it. I have a 9-year-old, and I have been through that phase. We all know there are a couple of factors that comes into obesity. One of them is, of course, high sugary beverages. The second of all is huge portion sizes. And third of all, no activity, physical activity, TV, media, social media, games, it's all going here. All of this is causing diabetes, high blood pressure, hypertension, all of it. So in order to prevent it, the one thing that as a parent, every one of us should do is involve ourselves in physical activity. I go for a bike ride with my son. When I go out, when the weather is good, get yourself out. Do some physical activities, 60 minutes a day, that's all that's needed. Either moderate or vigorous activity, but 60 minutes and that's it. And your child will be healthy. So if you involve yourself in it, your child will be on a healthy path. That's all.
Excellent, Ricky. I noticed a little sway back and forth, and I also noticed a little bit of your head kind of back and to the right. We'll see if we can just get you to think about.
I have that back into the right.
Yeah, like you're trying to get away from your audience. Really. Go for it, Shruti.
Hi everyone, my name is Shruti, so I'm here today to convince you to not text and drive if I haven't done so already last week. So texting and driving, texting is a visual, manual, and cognitive distraction. It's so much of a distraction and you're so impaired that you're 6 times more likely to cause an accident compared to when you're driving drunk. That's pretty alarming. And also, cell phone use alone is responsible for approximately 1.6 million car crashes per year, and some of those are fatal. So apart from crashes and the risk of death, it is also illegal. 46 states out of the 50 states have imposed a complete ban on all texting and driving. And also the steep fines are a deterrent for texting while driving as well. And despite all this, it is still very prevalent. So I want you to know that no matter what your reasons are to text and drive, no reason or no text is worth a life. So drive safe and don't text and drive.
Great job, Shruti. What was your focal point? Were you looking at Daniel most of the time?
The window.
The windows? Okay. Yeah.
It's just the window. I don't look at anyone. But
Yeah, I'd say we'll spread the eye contact around. This is an important message for all of us to get. And show us that you want all of us to get that important message by spreading eye contact. Right. Oh, yeah, move on.
Hello everybody, my name is Lavanya and I'm here to talk about marathon running. So I've been a runner for the last 6-7 years and I hope to run till I drop. I don't know when that is. So me and my husband, both of us are runners. We're very passionate runners, and I wanted to share with you guys a little bit of a brief history of how marathon started, what it's come to evolve now, and a little bit of the benefits and the risks that come along with running. So the word marathon was coined back when the Greeks and Persians had a war in, I don't know, it was 468 BC or something like that, and they had this whole thing that they ran, they sent a messenger from Marathon to Athens, which was like around approximately 25 miles to share the victory. And this guy runs over 26 miles and he's dropped dead after that. He shares the victory and he dies. So it was considered a very cruel distance. It was considered a distance which was physiologically very difficult for runners to, for any human being to do. And then it was revived like 2,000 years later when the whole Marathon Olympics happened in Greek. And then in London Olympics in like 1878 or something like that, the distance was changed to 26 miles. So it's come a long way. It had like 117 entrants to begin with, 17 entrants to begin with. Very few people finished the race, and it's come to a point where just in the US alone there are more than 500,000 runners finishing the race every year. And I also wanted to stress a little bit of the importance of women in running, because it was something that a woman's body was not capable of doing, is what they said. But women are from 10% in 1980, women have come to be more than 45% of finishers recently, so women have proved everybody wrong. And I just wanted to say that, runners come in all shapes and sizes. I'm not one of those great runners, I'm a mid-pack runner, but I just love to run, I just love to finish. And running has a lot of benefits. It's a huge de-stressor, and it's got a lot of physical benefits, like it helps in maintaining your weight, losing your weight, it helps with reducing the risk of diabetes, and it's proven to help with depression, combat depression and things like that. And it has its own injuries, and it comes with minor injuries, major injuries, and there have also been fatalities while running. So I hope you guys consider all the benefits and risks, see where you are now, and I hope you guys understood the history of marathon and join me for a run sometime. So thank you.
All right, if we can keep up while we're running, we'll join you. I mentioned this when I saw your presentation last week, a little bit of a sway back and forth. I feel like last week you were doing a sway forward and back, and this week you're doing a little bit of a sway side to side. So we'll try some exercises just to let go of that nervous energy and stand still. All right, Renew, fire away. Is everyone else gone? Okay, all right, so we got through everyone. We can just concentrate on the fun part after this.
Hello everyone. My name is Renu Varghese, and I am here today to talk to you about how to prevent heart diseases by leading a very healthy lifestyle. There's so much that goes into heart diseases. For example, high blood pressure, cholesterol, and smoking are the top 3 factors that lead to heart diseases. And a lot of us don't realize the importance in realizing what it is and how to prevent it. It's extremely easy to prevent it if you follow these steps. Avoid smoking, eat healthy, and exercise at least 30 minutes a day. So if you follow these steps, you'll be able to prevent heart disease. Thank you.
All right. was good focused eye contact and good stable body language. I can tell you we're nervous. And we'll see if we can do some exercises to just let go of that. And remember I talked about one way to control anxiety, just think of yourself as giving something to the audience. You're giving us something very important, and there'll be less space for you to concentrate on people judging you. All right, so we'll keep that in mind as we go through some of these exercises. So first we're going to talk about body language and do some body language stuff. So body language specifically, we'll talk about your use of arms and how that helps your presentation. So if I'm giving a presentation, how do gestures help me in that effective delivery? Yes, Mike?
It helps accent different points and stresses.
Yeah, accents, different points, stresses. So if I want to say sales are rising, costs are decreasing, or we all got axed, might do something like that. Accents, different points. Yes, someone else? Shruti.
It captures the audience attention.
Yeah, engages the audience, gives them something visual to entertain them. So you're not just standing there without any movement. Anything else?
Moving a lot distracts the audience, like shaking your head or moving back and forth.
Okay, so too much movement will overdo it. So just a little bit of movement engages the audience, as Shruti said. Too much movement will distract the audience. Now, the question is, what type of gestures, what type of movement do we want to use during a presentation? And I'm just going to throw out this idea to you because you're not going to disagree with me. The difficulty is in how we actually get at that. I want to suggest that the type of movement, the type of gestures we want are natural and appropriate for our content. So what I mean by that is what you would naturally do when you're trying to communicate something nonverbally. Right? What would your body naturally want to do as you're trying to express something? We all know what we might do if we're trying to send a message nonverbally. The problem happens when we get up here and we get nervous, we forget. We either don't move at all, or we say, oh, my presentation consultant Zach told me to move a little bit, so I'm going to do a big, awkward movement. So we need to do some stuff, some exercises to remind us of what we do naturally. The other thing I want to mention is appropriate for our content. The reason I say that is sometimes really huge gestures are appropriate. If you're trying to be enthusiastic, you're trying to get everyone to support something that level of enthusiasm is justified, that's fine. Other times, just very nuanced body gestures, very nuanced hand gestures can be all you need to accent an important point in, say, a more conservative environment. So with that, let's try some stuff, some exercises to help us remember what we do naturally when we try to communicate non-verbally. So I've created a little space. I'm going to have you all come up here. We're going to do some stuff to loosen up. Let's try to form a circle, I guess, kind of as we can. So the circle will be kind of a tight circle. It may sort of be more of a, I don't know, a what do you call that? Salamander, gerrymander, type of thing. Like so can you all back up a bit? Back up. Keep back in. Keep back in. Take that full space. That full space. Good. Excellent. All right. So you've been sitting a while. Let's just do a little shake out, a little stretch out here. Shake the arms out. I had a stressful day, maybe you had a stressful day also. Hands behind your back. Stretch open that chest. And one arm across. And one arm across. And maybe just a slight sort of bend one direction, loosen up the hip on one side. Oh, very nice. More from that bit. To the other side. Oh, first exercise I like to do is called zip, zap, zoom. What we do is we pass this imaginary ball of energy around the room using our hand gestures with the words zip, zap, or zoom. So as I pass this imaginary ball, I'm going to say one of those three things, and we'll start with zip. So I'm going to clap my hands together and say zip, like this. Zip. All right, and I've passed. And Jameson needs to give me all of his money. And I've passed the ball of energy to Jameson, and he's going to do the same thing, passing it around the room. So let's give it a shot. What are you doing? Just zip. Just zip. Just exactly what I do. Zip. Zip. Yes.
Zip. Zip. Zip.
Zip.
Zip.
Zip. Zip. Zip.
Zip.
Zip. Zip. Good, good. Let's actually, now that I think about it, why don't we just forget that little island thing is there and just make the whole, yeah. All right, make the whole circle here. Okay, because we need some room. You need some space. You need feet about shoulder width apart from you. Come out from the wall just a little bit. Slight bend in the knees. You're ready to pass this ball of energy with all your physicality. Does that make sense? All right, zip. Zip.
Zip.
Yeah, nice.
Zip.
Yeah, zip. Yeah.
Zip. Zip. Zip.
Zip.
Zip. Zip. Zip.
Zip. Fantastic. All right, the next step is anyone at any point can say zap and go the other direction. So let's zip around to Nick. And when we get to Nick, you're going to say zap back to Evan, and that's going to send the zip back in the other direction. So Nick is going to change the direction with zap, and then we're going to go back to zip, go the other direction.
Zip. 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 Zap. Zip. 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 Zip.
Fantastic.
This is going to have the most views.
Okay. The third step, anyone at any point can say zoom to someone across the circle. You can zoom anyone except the two people on either side of you. So let's do this. Let's zip all the way to Nick. Nick is going to zap and switch directions, and we're going to zip all the way to Saeed. And then you are going to zoom to one person of your choosing. When Saeed zooms you, you go back to zip, one direction or the other. Make sense? All right, zip.
Zip. Zip. Zip. Zip. Zap. Zip. 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 Zip.
Zip.
Zip. Zip. Zip. Zip. Zip. Zip.
Zip. Zip.
Zip. Zip. Zap. Zip.
Zip. Zip. Zip.
Zoom.
Okay. All right. Good. Good. You have to be very clear when you zoom. Who you're zooming to. Eye contact will help. Clearly pointing. But yeah, you've got the hang of it. All right. So let's so loosen up here. Let's try a couple more practice runs before we start the elimination round. Zip. Zip. Zip.
Zip. Zip. Zap.
Yeah.
Zip. Zip.
Zip. Zip. Zip. Zip. Zap. Zip. 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 Zoom. Zip.
Zip. Zip. Zip.
Zip. Zoom. Zip. 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 Zap. Zip. Zip. Zoom. Zip. Zip. Zip.
Zip. Zip. Zip. Zip.
Zoom. Zip. Zip. Zip.
Zip. Zap. Zip.
Zip. Zip. Zip. Zap. Zip. 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 Zip.
Zap.
Zip. Zip. Zoom. Zip. Zip. Zip.
Zip. Zap.
Zip. Zap. Zip. All right, does everyone have the hang of it? So zip, zap changes directions. If someone zaps you, you can either zip the other direction or you can zoom. You can go zip, zap, zoom. If someone zooms you, you must go back to zip, one direction or the other. All right, so let's start the elimination round. If you make a mistake, you're out.